So, um, so, what? Let's start with an introduction. What is your name and your job title?
My name is Scott Alford. I am the financial aid loan coordinator for South Plains College.
And how long have you been in your position?
Almost 8 years.
8 years.
Yes.
And what led you to becoming the loan officer at in our financial aid office?
I knew the director of financial aid, and she knew me. And position came open when she was the financial aid loan coordinator before me, and I was working at the bookstore here at the college. And again, Susan and I had known each other since college, actually. And we talked about it, and she thought I could do the job. I interviewed, and here I am.
Do you what do you enjoy about your position?
I like to being able to help students, being able to provide for them so that they can pursue their college degree and their dreams. That's mainly it.
And what educational background do you have? You said you went to college. What kind of degree did you receive?
I have a Bachelor of Arts from Wayland Baptist University.
Okay, awesome. So, what is your role within the financial aid office?
I handle all the loans that students request. We only do direct loans, federal direct loans to the Department of Education. But I handle all the loan requests that come in, and I award and disperse all the loans and communicate with the students and or the parents who take out loans, what's needed and what we can do for them, and just keep in contact with them and help them pay for college.
Sure. So, what kind of loans are there? You did say that there was the federal loans, but is there other types of loans?
There are other types available. There are some state financial aid loans. There are private education loans that are out there. However, South Plains College does not certify those loans. We only certify the federal direct loans.
Gotcha.
Our costs are low enough that the vast majority of students can pay for their school through self-financing and financial aid and scholarships.
Gotcha. Do you perform any other duties within the financial aid office? Do you help with any other niche or anything else within there?
I'm the backup award coordinator for Pell Grants. If the person who normally does that is out, and I take over for that. I help at the front desk when I can, when I'm not busy, and it is busy up there. And just do customer service type things up there, help guide students and answer questions.
Gotcha. So who is your direct supervisor?
Susan Nasworth. She's the director of financial aid.
And are there opportunities for advancement within the financial aid office?
Yes. There's the assistant director position, which is currently held by Monica Sisk, and the director. And then that's it for the financial aid department, but there are other opportunities available through the school as well.
Gotcha. Does your office collaborate with other departments? And if so, what kind of collaboration do y'all do to help support the students, I should say?
I'm sorry. We work really closely with the business office since we provide the money and they allocate the money to the students' account and for refunds the students get. So we have to coordinate very closely with them. And we're required by federal regulations to reconcile our accounts with them monthly. We do it more often than that, but that's the requirement. We also work with the advising office, since part of the regulations also state that students must be making satisfactory academic progress in order to qualify for financial aid. We do have to work with the advising office as well, especially when students are having trouble making satisfactory academic progress. If they are on financial aid suspension because they're not making that progress, then we work especially closely with the advising office at that point to set up, the students can make an appeal to get their suspension lifted. And if that appeal is approved, then we have to work with the advising office, and the advising office sets up an academic plan to get them back on track. So we do have to work closely with them as well to get that taken care of for the students. We also work with the admissions and records office because, again, federal regulations state that certain things have to be in place before we can award financial aid. And so we have to work with admission and records, making sure that they have what they need so that we can do our job as well.
Gotcha. So is there professional development or training that y'all participate in?
We do the Federal Student Aid Conference annually. It's held in December. It's held usually the week after Thanksgiving. It goes into December usually. Several of us attend that. We are going to also, we're planning, if we can get it in the budget, attend Ellucian, who's our main software provider. They hold what they call eLive in April every year. It's training for the software and also for other things that go along with just working the software. That includes financial aid and the regulations that go along with that.
Yeah.
We also are a member of TAFSA, the Texas Association of Financial Aid Professionals, and we attend training with them every spring, and we look for other opportunities as well.
Gotcha. So can you share a particularly challenging situation or scenario that has happened within your role within the financial aid office?
One thing in particular that just comes to mind is if a student has been awarded aid and been dispersed aid, they've gotten their bill paid and maybe even gotten a refund. And then we find out later from the registrar's office that they actually never attended the classes that they were supposed to attend.
Okay.
And we have to cancel that aid and inform the student that that the aid has been canceled and that they owe that money back to the school. That's never a conversation. But
yes, I can understand that that's not going to be an easy one to do.
the regulation wise, we're required to do that.
Yes. So with the student loan debt relief, this may not affect y'all so much. I don't know if y'all get questions about that. The Biden administration debt relief, student loan debt relief. Do you see that there has been an increase, or do you know if there's been an increase in defaulting on student loans? Because people were counting on that, so they stopped paying.
The pause went into effect in 2020, and it's still in effect, and it will be in effect for 30 days after the COVID crisis, COVID emergency is declared over. And I think that's supposed to actually happen in May now. So 30 days after that is when students will have to start paying back. But since at this point, they've not had to make payments, they've not had interest accrued, there haven't been any defaults because, again, they haven't tried to collect. Once that does go back into effect, when they do have to start making payments, again, probably in June, then we do expect the default rate to spike significantly. Unfortunately, we do have a third party that helps us with our loan default, and they're very good about contacting the students, keeping in contact with the students, encouraging them, giving them options on how to get back to repayment.
Yes.
And like I said, they're very good at that, and we're very grateful that we have them on board.
Do you see that being an issue with our student population currently?
It could be.
It could be.
Before we hired this particular third party, we had another third party, and our default rate was well over 15% per cohort. This company has gotten us down even before the payment pause. They'd gotten us down to below 10%, well below 10%. So traditionally, like I said, going back historically, we have had issues, but again, this particular company we're using is very good about helping students
Okay.
get back on track. So it will have an effect. Hopefully it won't put us back over that. If your default rate is over 15%, then certain regulations kick in that are a hassle for everybody. So we really hope that they're able to keep it below that 15%.
Yeah. Is there any crisis issues within financial aid or student loans that you're aware of that you think that students should be concerned about coming up? This,
Again, biggest thing will be when the payment pause on the student loans, on the direct loans goes back or is rescinded. They'll start making payments again. And like we've talked about, that is a concern because they've gone 3 years now without having to make payments.
yeah,
And having to pick that back up unless they've planned for it, unless they've budgeted for it, that is going to be an issue. As far as the student loan cancellation that the president has proposed, whether that makes it through the courts intact, I don't know. If it does make it through the courts and they are able to transfer that $10,000 or $20,000 of debt from the students to the taxpayers, yeah, that'll be good for the students, not so good for the taxpayers. So, but again, there's no telling how the courts will ultimately rule on that.
okay. Well, those were my questions. Try to keep it short and sweet. So I guess if I have any other follow-up questions, I will shoot you an email and ask so I can attach it as an addendum to this. But I think that's all I need for this interview.
All right.
Alrighty.
Thanks
Well,
for
thank
talking.
you. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.